Today we are at the Marin Rod and Gun Club Pier. It's a private pier, and we're here today to film the Kids Fishing Derby, Kids Day on the Pier, which is the 28th annual. I've been involved in the last 10 years, and this club is in its 96th year. So 4 years from now, they're going to have a 100 years celebration. It's a private club. You can only fish off the pier if you belong to the club, or you know somebody who's a member and they can take you on there. But today we're going to be describing the pier, and we're going to be filming, hopefully, a lot of kids catching fish. That's the goal. As I said, this pier is a private pier, and what that means is that you need a fish and game or fish and wildlife fishing license if you want to fish on the pier. If it's a public pier in California, you don't need a license, but you do on a private pier. There aren't very many private piers like this. This is probably the largest one that's still left. There used to be a lot more, but most of them are not here anymore. So you need a license, and you're only allowed to use 2 rods and reels. The fishing out here, we are in right next to the Santa Fe Bridge. We're a little bit farther down into the bay, starting to get into what they call Suisun Bay. The San Francisco Bay right by the opening of the Golden Gate. Then the water comes farther up, passes through Suisun Bay, goes through the Carquinez Straits into the Delta. So you get a little bit of a mixing of salt water and fresh water. And what that means is there's a lot of striped bass out here, and it means this is a good area for sturgeon, white sturgeon, a few green sturgeon, mainly white sturgeon. Now, this year, because we're in a drought, what's happened is that there's not as much fresh water coming down through the rivers, and so the bay is actually, this part of the bay is saltier than normal, and they've probably had the best year they've had in decades as far as California halibut. So maybe we'll say halibut today. We don't know. It's they've been catching some nice ones though. 16 pound, 18 pound, that kind of thing. However, the other bad thing that's happening right now is that there's a severe red tide over in the East Bay side of the bay. I don't know if it's affected over here yet, if it's moved over here. They say it's one of the worst in decades over there, which makes the fishing bad. So I'm hoping, got our fingers crossed, that the red tide is not over here to affect the fishing today. We have over 100 kids signed up, and every kid receives a rod and reel. This club here is in its 96th year. It's a large club. I've heard right around 1,000 members. And so it's a very powerful club. They do a lot of conservation work. They've reestablished some oyster beds out here. They've done some eelgrass. Hopefully we'll see some fish today. Like I said, the only a little bit of a fear is from the red tide, but hopefully it won't affect things too bad. So now it's just a matter of getting everything signed up and ready to go. Funny stories about this pier. This corner over here where the Richmond Santa Fe Bridge comes down is Point San Quentin, and right around the corner is San Quentin Prison. One year, many years ago, I think it was back in the 80s, had a couple of people escape from San Quentin, and they came over here, and a couple of them went up on the pier out here, and they actually caught them out here on the pier, 2 escapees. So not something you normally see at most piers, but when you're sitting right next door to San Quentin, it's a possibility, I suppose, once in a great while. We call that sweet baby rig. Volunteers who help wanted to welcome everyone to the 28th Annual Kids Day on the Pier. It's pretty impressive, 28 years in a row. And I've been here the last 10 years, so I've been pleased to be part of the group. Sorry. Okay, we hope that you watch our pier fishing videos. We have two aims. One aim is to educate people how to be better anglers. And secondly, we hope to entertain you a little bit. Hope you enjoyed these films. Watch the films. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and keep watching.